In the time when the leaves fell and the rivers still ran free toward the great water, two brothers were born among the Shawnee. The older was Tecumseh, whose name meant shooting star. The younger was called Lalawethika, a noise in the world. Their father, Puckashinwa, fell at the river in the moon when the leaves fall, at the battle the Virginians called the Battle of Point Pleasant, just before Lalawethika was born. Their mother, Methotaski, went west with her grief, leaving her younger children in the care of kin. Tecumseh, the elder, grew straight and strong. He saw that the land and his people were being divided by mere marks made on paper. He proclaimed that the land was not a thing to sell, for it belonged to all the tribes, as the sky belongs to all who stand beneath it. His voice traveled from the Great Lakes to the southern forests, calling the nations to remember that they were indeed one body. His younger brother, Lalawethika, was not at all like Tecumseh, and he stumbled for many winters. Whiskey was frequently used by both Europeans and Americans during treaty negotiations and trading to more easily influence native leaders to trade valuable goods such as buffalo robes, furs, and land. Alcoholism, intertribal conflicts, division, and disease were therefore rampant among post-contact tribes by the time the boys were young men. Indeed, before Lalawethika had lived 40 winters, he became inundated by alcoholism. One day, in the time when the sap rises and the earth softens, Lalawethika fell into great darkness and drunken despair. He was so unresponsive that his tribe thought he was dead. His family even prepared his body for burial. But Lalawethika was not dead. He was very much alive and had returned to the land of the living with a vision. He told his people that the Master of Life had shown him that the red men should resist the white man's whiskey and his ways. They should not seek to trade with them, nor become dependent upon their trade goods at all. Lalawethika maintained that they should preserve their way of life at all costs. He took a new name, Tenskwatawa, the open door, the one with the open mouth. The governor of Indiana, William Henry Harrison, sent a message mocking Tenskwatawa, saying, "If he speaks for the Great Spirit, let him darken the sun." And in the season appointed, the sun was darkened. The people saw and began to believe the two young men. Their city, Prophetstown, grew in brilliance like a fresh fire in a dry forest. One day, Tecumseh traveled south to gather the tribal nations together. Tenskwatawa stayed behind to manage the city. Harrison advanced on Prophetstown, prompting the Battle of Tippecanoe. Tenskwatawa promised the warriors that the bullets would not harm them. However, many fell. The town was later burned. The people's faith in Tenskwatawa fractured like thin ice in early spring. Tecumseh persevered for their cause, eventually joining forces with the British. In the war between the British and the Americans, the young warrior stood as the heart of a great confederacy. But at the Battle of 1812, he fell beneath the trees of the North. With Tecumseh's death, the great union of nations he and his brother had begun to weave seemed to be coming apart like a net cut by a sharp knife. The Confederacy had signally failed, and the land was taken. Never again did Tenskwatawa retain such power as he had previously. He graduated from this world an old man in the dear month 1836 in a relative obscurity. But this is not the end of the story. A confederation interwoven with war may have come undone, the futility of isolation may have worn away, the definition of witchcraft may have transformed, but the dream of all tribes being as one people yet remained. Tenskwatawa's dream continued to flourish and evolve in councils and congresses, in intertribal gatherings, in the return to the memory of the Great Spirit. The nations no longer avoided treaties, but rather learned how to read and write them. Tribes recorded indigenous constitutions. Native leaders spoke of collective rights. The Cherokee even began to shape their own syllabaries and write down oral traditions. Ever and anon, many true teachers have appeared among the various tribes and races, all through the long ages of evolutionary history. and they will ever continue to appear to challenge the shamans or priests of any age who oppose general education and attempt to thwart scientific progress. Tecumseh's dream of unity became a seed. Tenskwatawa's vision of preservation became a root. They did not stop the flood of time that would later interplay and intermix the many populations. They did, however, enhance the way nations understood unity. No longer did the various tribes view each other as scattered fires, but as one great circle, without beginning or end, the many children of the Great Spirit of all creation.